So welcome to day 2 of A Good Enough Lent with Kate Bowler and Jessica Richie. Today's reflection is called Buoyed by the Absurd, and it is slightly adapted. My grandmother was dying. It had been a long haul since her initial diagnosis and brutal treatments, and we were struggling under the weight of another painful truth. Although she was not going to get better, she was also not going to face that fact. No late life lessons or awakenings in the face of her own demise for her, no sir. This was going to be hard until the end of the line. My mom was always hovering nearby, waiting to see what she could do next. This went on for days and days and days. One hospital day, my mom sat down to crack open her lunch and take a breather from keeping watch, only to discover that the meatballs she was looking forward to eating were frozen solid. She poked at them dolefully with a plastic fork, then nibbled around the edges. Rocks. Delicious frozen rocks. Suddenly, the quiet hallways of the hospital were full of my mom's slightly hysterical giggling. At that moment, one of my grandmother's friends popped her head in to see where the laughter was coming from, and her face tightened with disapproval. "Is anyone with your mother?" she asked tersely, as if my mom had abandoned her post or insulted the sanctity of the space. Someone was dying. How dare anyone laugh about meatballs? This is such a common feeling. Is it okay to laugh when sadness surrounds us? Under the weight of our grief, our shame, our pain, or that of the world, we can convince ourselves that joy is the enemy, that to celebrate or feel happiness somehow mocks pain. But it is sometimes the opposite. Joy is the oxygen for doing hard things, as Gary Haugen says. He is the founder and CEO of International Justice Mission, an organization that frees people around the world from human slavery. The injustice he has witnessed firsthand would make even the sunniest heavy with despair. But Gary's the opposite. His levity is contagious and exactly what sustains him to do the long, faithful work of justice. When you are sinking under the weight of grief or falling prey to the fears that stalk your mind, try on joy for a change. Turn on the music and dance in your kitchen. Plan a road trip to the world's largest disco ball, prairie chicken, and chest of drawers for no reason at all. And yes, I have seen them all and then some. Bake a cake and have a party celebrating that it's Tuesday. Drop a surprise note and treat on a friend's doorstep. Try a cartwheel in the yard. Some people will try to tell you to just choose joy, as if reframing your perspective will make things hurt less. I wish I could tell you that joy was a magic formula, but no matter how joyful you choose to act, joy does not erase our pain. Some things cannot be canceled out, but we are capable of a whole range of emotions that can coexist. Joy and sorrow, grief and delight, laughter and despair. Sometimes the absurdity even keeps us afloat. And Kate and Jessica invite us to reflect on these questions or take one good enough step today. Think of a moment you experienced joy in the midst of sorrow. Joy might come unexpectedly, or it can be a discipline. Joy is the oxygen for doing hard things, as Gary Haugen says. Describe a time the practice of doing something joyful has lifted you up. And finally, try something absurd today, even if you don't feel very joyful, and pay attention to how that feels.